I call economic developers the unsung heroes in government offices because they're the ones that are working with the entrepreneurs. They're the ones with the entrepreneurship mind that is emerging our communities forward. Today, I'm talking about something of my professional life that I'm very, very passionate about. I am passionate about economic development, and the reason I am is because I believe it takes innovation to drive businesses, to drive the world forward, and there is only one holder that contributes to that, and it's entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are the ones that will grow, will have the ideas from startup to expanding. They're the ones, the reason we have cars from horses. And I could go on and on with lots of examples. So I never used economic development when I was an entrepreneur and a business owner because I didn't know it existed and I didn't know all the resources. So when I did learn about them, I started to love this industry and serving in this industry and connecting the entrepreneurs to all the resources. So I call economic developers the unsung heroes in government offices because they're the ones that are working with the entrepreneurs. They're the ones with the entrepreneurship mind that is emerging our communities forward. So to kick today's show off, I'm giving you a little bit about my passion because I'm excited to have Lorie Watson, the Economic Development Officer from the town of Okotoks. I also live in Okotoks. I'm very passionate about the foothills in southern Alberta. I love all rural communities in North America, but specifically in this backyard is Lorie Watson. So Lorie, welcome to the show and thank you for joining us. And before we dive into all the neat things that you do with your job that a lot of you probably don't know that happen here in Okotoks, can I hear a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
And why you chose this profession?
Thanks so much, Angela. One of the things I think that really brought me into this profession was my passion for being an entrepreneur. I've owned several businesses in my life, and it's one thing that I really am passionate about, helping businesses grow. Especially female entrepreneurs is really where my passion lies. Yes. And I
love how much they've evolved. Like, the numbers and the stats from years ago of how many women entrepreneurs to now,
yes.
I love it. So.
Yes, and especially in Okotoks. Like, people are really surprised when I do say, like, half of our businesses here are owned by women. That is amazing. Half. So 50%. So, what I love about that number is that women are finding a way to own businesses. They have such, being in the profession, there's so many challenges that are different for women than there are for men. And so one of the things I find when I work with women entrepreneurs, they really have a really clear understanding of what it takes to run the business. And
because we manage homes.
Yes, right.
Because of our nurturing side.
Right.
For all of you watching out there right now or listening, did you just hear that? 50% of their business community is woman owned. So if you are someone that works with women networking groups or support women organizations and entrepreneurship, you might want to host your conference. Call Lorie up and host it in Okotoks.
Yes. And, I just reflecting on, where I come from, and, I started out in marketing. And so I think that's another key piece where I feel like, has really helped in the development of the work that I do. And really we do, help businesses, but we also do a lot of promotion of the community to attract investment as well.
Yeah, that's my goal today, Lorie, is to bring you on to, I still feel there's a disconnect to entrepreneurs. And, I was president of Business Retention and Expansion International, and I was learning all the innovative ways that across the world people are using different tools to communicate to business owners. And what I'm hoping is that you can help me build the bridge to why we are doing this. And my own story is I did not know economic development was there to serve me, to help me when I was in startup. And when I was looking to go from home base to storefront, or to then shop local, think global, take my business local. And we have pools of resources available for federal and provincial So can you share a little bit of your passion of why you do it and how you do it to communicate?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that in the community, a lot of the entrepreneurs don't know that we actually exist and what services that we actually provide. And one of the key services we do provide is business retention and expansion. But what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yes.
The average person, we always use these acronyms.
Yes.
And for the baker that's listening right
Yes.
now, or the butcher shop, that means?
Yes, and so one of the things that we really focus on is connecting businesses in their needs. So
Their specific
yes,
needs.
Yes.
Government is so used to, like, we give templates and links
Yes.
and surveys and stuff, but you have actual humans here on the ground
Yes.
that will talk to you to customize their needs.
Yeah, and I think that really starts with a conversation with the business owner. And it can come sometimes it could be that they're looking for help on a business plan, or they're needing help with HR issues that they're having, or it could be, what are some opportunities for financial support.
Bridging,
So,
financing, gaps.
Yeah, every conversation is really different. I don't feel like we can really say this is it all. Every business is different. Every business is in a different point in their business journey. So those conversations is really what it really helps businesses connect to the things that they need.
Yeah, I love that. So any businesses listening out there, if you are waking up in the morning in your business, because I always teach you have to work on your business, not just in your business. So when you go to work on your business, you're not alone. Mm-hmm. You have your ecosystems, you have your chambers of commerce and your community futures and your business links and your Alberta Innovates. But you have one person in your backyard that will meet you for that coffee, will come to your location, will pick up that phone call and say, what do you specifically need? So you're not alone. You're not alone in this.
And that's another thing that I think is really key is mental health. So one of the quotes I really liked is when you're healthy, your business is healthy. Yes. And so I think sometimes that when we speak to businesses sometimes are a little shy to share some of their personal challenges. Yeah. But it's really important to understand where they're coming from. Whether if there's family challenges or it impacts your business. Yes. So we become sometimes a little bit of counselors, but
which is okay. Yeah. I want to share that. That's why I call you my unsung hero, because Angela's always up in the scenes. I mean, I got my own show, for God's sake. So, but Lorie, you're not. But I need you to know how respected you are in the industry, because there's really smart people behind the scenes. They're actually the ones that do more work. I love partnering with people like you because I get out front and I look really good because you're doing it behind. That was my whole purpose, was to bring you on today so that people in your own backyard, in your industry, and any we're getting up there in age, Lorie, so any of those juniors, EDOs coming up, knowing that you're available for mentorship. But for the business owners, I really want to speak to you. I think it's interesting that you brought up mental health, because you pulled my heartstrings. That's huge for me. I like to use the language mental well-being, because it's your whole life that makes you a strongest business owner. And I believe I love coaching the human behind the business. And as an EDO, we are challenged all the time on that, to counsel them. Today's May 5th. It's International Mental Health Week. So I think this is quite timely, this talk. But for you business owners out there, we're not professionals. We can't speak to you about your mental health, but we can get you connected. But sometimes that talk therapy, the stress that you're carrying, I need you to know that Lorie volunteers. She continually is training herself all the time on how to better serve, to be comfortable in those conversations. Do you want to share any examples of impacts that you've made that will help encourage people?
Yeah. So, I think it's always challenging for businesses to connect with the town and when to connect with the town. And one of the things I always share is when you have a business idea, that's when you need to come talk to the town. Because, you want to make sure that you're making informed decisions. And, examples that I've seen with businesses, I'm so glad I talked to you. I didn't know that renovation, I needed this permit, or I needed
Knowledge
that.
Knowledge is power.
Right?
Knowledge is
Yes.
power.
And
That's
I'm
right.
so glad that I understood by talking to you that I had 3 competitors a block away from me. And so, one of the things that we offer is that information, right? Yeah. So it's when they come talk to us, it's about building their business, but really understanding the community. And one of the things as economic developers, we understand the business community and in Okotoks.
Yeah. I love that because I don't think people know. I didn't know for the longest time. And every time I go to government meetings, because I would say about 30% of my week is filled on meetings, it's learning. And I only go if I believe the entrepreneurs in my community that I'm serving will benefit from me attending that meeting. And does that knowledge need to come back? Because there can be so much knowledge for us. And so customizing it to your business community needs is really crucial. On that, what business owners need to know also is the economic development. We get to participate in the house, the administration that manages the town. We get to bring that entrepreneurship lens in. We get to, sometimes I love the relationship we have with planning because they need to keep us legal and safe, but I love pushing entrepreneurship onto them. Don't say no. Let's say how or but, right? Like no, but this is why, or this is how you can do it, or no, but how about we look at it this way? Those are the fun planners that are coming up with that are working out. But that happens with every single department. In knowing in Okotoks here, right from your green space to your landscaping to your recycling to your transit programs, everything is. I really love how all of your departments are all working together to merging Okotoks forward to be that place-making, innovative place beside an urban city. Is there any exciting developments that you could share that are coming up to let business owners know that we're working on your behalf?
Well, one of the things I was going to speak to is that last week, I had over 140 businesses participate in our engagement process for the tourism strategy. One of the things, that we really, sometimes businesses don't understand what are the opportunities there, and if there's opportunities there, how do I get involved? And so one of the things, whether it's events or whether it's, community-led events or town-led events, there's opportunities for businesses to gain the perspective in the region. So one thing that I do talk to businesses a lot is sometimes they get really focused on the community and serving the community, but we have a metropolitan right next door that also are potential customers. And so having those conversations, businesses are like, but how do I reach them? And so there's a lot of conversations that turn into a lot of questions, but we're there to help answer those questions. And so businesses that are interested in, say, growing or even taking, a focus outside of the province even, or, that we're there to help them to really navigate all that. Yeah.
On that note, I mean, the new trend, thanks to man down south, is shop local, shop Canada, shop Alberta, shop Okotoks, whatever community you're in. You guys have done some pretty neat programs around that, the business spotlight stuff. Do you want to share? And the reason I'm asking this question is the why behind it. Why I'm so passionate about economic development, because I need the entrepreneurs to understand we have your back. We're here to help you sustain your business, open your business, and grow it. So that's why I'm asking her that question, is so that you can leverage what you say. We're never going to be really good at communication because we're government workers, but you guys are. You know how to communicate to your targeted audience. So bring it, I'm always open to learn better ways to do things better. So anyways, I've talked a lot there. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, one of the programs that I'm really excited about is the business success stories. The business success stories really are empowering to entrepreneurs and residents. So one of the ways I always think of residents as ready to open a business. So, that's the potential there. And so there's a lot of potential in reaching those business stories with the community and outside the community, because it really shows that, we're a place that's friendly for starting a business friendly. Yeah. And so, and part of that is learning. I think we can always learn by having a conversation with another business. And, I find that business owners that they really want to connect with each other. And it's a great way to say, hey, I watched that business story. They reach out to that business because maybe they have a similar challenge, and then those conversations get started.
Yeah, I love that. I personally don't believe in competition. I think I can remember the fears in people when Tim Hortons or Starbucks would come into your community and your local coffee shop would just freak. Like, I'm going to be closing my doors. While Okotoks has some very successful stories about that. They have one specific street here that has a beautiful tea house on it, beautiful coffee shops, beautiful other businesses. but they're full, they're flat out, because they had a uniqueness to them. They had a culture, they had an experience. It's not about the coffee. It's about the experience that goes with the coffee. And she nailed it. So it's globally known. So when you come into Okotoks, that you want to find these two places and have some fun. But there also is the audience for the sports or the fast travelers that want to have the Tim Hortons. So I don't believe in competition, because then also I like to have that Starbucks feeling with my 20-year-old daughter and her girlfriends, right? So the key thing that you've said is it's the stories. And this is, again, my passion of why I'm being an economic development officer, is because the entrepreneurs are what keep our communities alive. If we didn't have them, we wouldn't be a town or a city, and we wouldn't have a budget. The residents cannot carry the budget all on their own. So they really, not even from the social side that they contribute to with their donations and supporting our teams, our hospitals, I could go on and on and on. But it's the financial commercial taxes that they contribute as well. So without entrepreneurship, I believe you're a village or you're a bank. You could potentially be a bankrupt community. And that's so important that they feel heard, that they feel seen, that they know how valued they are. And it's our job to bridge that. And it's why I love podcasts. It's why I'm having you on, is to tell that story of how you want to connect them. But I want to hear the stories behind these business owners. I heard one the other day that donated over $140,000 a year. And they had a list of programs that they donate to. And the product, I don't have their approval to say who they are, but the product that they were selling, they every week go to Costco and price compare. And they make sure that they change their price, that they're either equal to or under, because they love their customers that they've been serving for 35 years, I think it was. And I said, how do you tell everybody that? I didn't know that. And they go, I don't know. I said, you're not getting out that, like, you're not putting it on podcasts, you're not on social media, and I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I get it, they don't have time. But imagine if we could meet them and tell that story, and say, hey, you can buy this there instead of Costco.
Yes, and that's why I love the business success stories, because, some of those things that they are the unsung heroes as well. It's such something they do, but, it's one of those things that, they don't always put out into the public that they're doing, right? Yeah. And so I think it's part of our job is to celebrate those businesses, celebrate them giving back. It's not just about, okay, I've been in the community for 20 years, but all the things I've done for the community over the years, and that's part of their story as well.
Exactly. And that's our, I'm going to be a little vulnerable and share my experience with government. Not all marketing and communication departments, in my experience, will support telling the story of the entrepreneur. Not because they don't want to. Resources, capacity, and they don't want to up taxes so that, 1% tax, so you can have is another $200,000 in expenditures in a town budget. So that's probably what we would need to be able to do that full time. And so as much as we want to, that's why we do innovative things to tell stories behind the scenes. But you business owners can also start to work together, and you can start to share. And maybe you can approach the town and providing platforms so that we're able to tell their stories for them. But brag. And then when we hear it, we brag all the time. And what is that statement of investment attraction? 80% of leads come from your backyard? Within. Well, I've been doing this 20 years. 100%. Yes. You can market all over the world, Okotoks. Yeah. But if you are watching their Facebook page, and if you're watching the council, and you come into town, and you talk to business owners, and they hate being here, you're going to lose that lead right there. But all of these business owners are all brand ambassadors for the town of Okotoks, so they're all loving doing business here, so they're telling everybody, and that's why we keep expanding.
And why, one of the key questions we always ask them, why do you do business in Okotoks? And so they are our brand ambassadors.
What are some of the answers? Why do they do that?
It is really because they love the community. One thing I feel like I hear is that we do still have, some areas may look a little like Calgary, but we still really are a small town at heart.
Yes.
So the small town at heart that shows through in business stories and the journey they have, they really want to have more for businesses to come to Okotoks, and business owners are here for a reason, not just because their house is here, but also because they have connection to the community.
Yeah, I know you got some big projects you're maybe not allowed to talk about, but because I'm a resident here, I've been asked to participate in the downtown, and my favorite part of Okotoks is the river walk. I call it the river walk. For my mental well-being, I have to get to nature as much as I can. So I have a lot of fun that I can put my runners on with my dog or a bike, and I'm river walk in 10 minutes in nature. And knowing what you guys are going to be doing down there, I'm probably going to feel like I'm going to be in Paris in a couple of years walking down there through the river walk. So you don't see that in every community. You're very lucky to have that.
Yeah, very lucky. The access to the outdoors is one thing I think, is such a key asset. One of the things we hear in the community, quality of life, but quality of life is that because we're so connected to nature here, whether that's walking through the pathways, the environment that we put so high on our list of priorities. It's it's one of those things that I think people value in the community.
Yeah, and that again is what I never understood economic developers' jobs were, is we're contributing to all the discussions on plans on how to grow this community to quality of life, because it's the number one reason. Our business owners would all say, I want customers in my door. If you want to help me, well, this is how we do it. This is how we build a beautiful community, so the people will either want to work here, play here, or maybe move here. And that's the most blah statement in economic development. But what's fun is when you tell the story around the why. And Okotoks has lots of whys. What is your favorite gem in closing here? What's your favorite gem of Okotoks?
Oh, I think, one of the things that I love about Okotoks is that we are, as business owners, are so open to helping each other. It's not working in silos. It's coming together. Whether that is, a meet and greet, or whether that's a round table, they're so willing to help one another and have conversations about their businesses. It's not something they hold close to their chest. They're so helpful to other businesses, whether you're new or you've been here 20 years. Everyone has something to contribute. And so I think that's one of the things that working with businesses, I'm most proud of the businesses here, and I really enjoy when I see a business that's flourished and say, hey, I just had my year in business. We have we do a lot of celebration around milestones. We have grand openings, but we also have red ribbon cuttings where we celebrate years in business. So yeah.
Well, there's the unsung hero, Lorie, that I wanted to interview. It's very clear your passion of why you do what you do. And I hope having you on here today will let the business owners feel your love and how much you enjoy connecting them, supporting them, and reach out to you. I hope they do.
Yes.
To our audience up there that is the up-and-coming EDOs or people that are stuck or flat right now, do you have any inspiration that you want to share with them, or lessons learned that you wish you would have heard?
Yeah, I think, it can be really overwhelming. We wear multiple hats, but I think it's one of those things that you really always, every day doesn't look the same. We really need to prioritize our time, and, one of the things we always have in the back of the mind, we're serving the business community. What are the best ways that we can show up today to serve them?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. Every day, you and I and all the other economic development officers out there, directors, managers, every day we get up with one goal in our mind. How do we help support our business owners? And it's a very tough job to manage what the entrepreneurs want and the government laws. There are municipal government acts, there are provincial acts, there's federal acts, and that is, the EDO is the one the most that has to navigate that. So I want to close on that, on Mental Well-Being Week. Take care of yourselves, EDOs out there. Business owners, take care of yourselves out there. And then I want to thank you as my guest coming on. And you have a gift here. I hope the business owners get connected with this episode and reach out to you.